Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your WrestleMania 37 Night 2 post show. Let's do it! Dance party in the house. WrestleMania 37 post show. What's going on? Johnny North.
There he is.
Big man, Johnny North. Hang on a second. There we go. That's me. I'm Dave.
Tighter.
There's my brother. Yeah, you're a little tighter. I didn't want you to get too much space because we're two guys here. We got to make room. Make room for the Simon brothers in the house. Night 2, WrestleMania 37 post-show. Johnny, WrestleMania 37 in the books. Roman Reigns is still the Universal Champion, as we predicted. I mean, we told you this was going to happen. You see me wearing the Daniel Bryan shirt, always hopeful, always just begging. You saw me. I was going bananas, just praying Daniel Bryan would win, but I knew.
Standing on his feet.
Standing up.
Like it was like a GSP fight, just like full of emotion, this man.
I was very emotional watching my man D. Bryan, the main event of one of the greatest WrestleMania matches you'll ever see against two other top-level competitors in Edge and Roman Reigns. Tremendous main event. Great match. Probably the match of the weekend we just saw here tonight. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, with Roman, the big dog, his yard, head of the table, head of the family, standing tall at the end of the night, getting the pin on both Bryan and Edge after some help from his cousin Jey Uso. Roman Reigns retains. How did you guys feel about WrestleMania as a whole? Give me your score on 10 for this thing. Give me your match of the night. And tell me if this was the match of the weekend. Was this the match of the weekend? Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan versus Edge. I think a lot of people tonight will give that match of the night. Was it the best match that we saw all weekend? Was it better than Bad Bunny? You tell me. This is the post show. This is WrestleMania 37. This is the Ringside Report Network. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, become a member, and click the bell so you get notifications. Don't forget, hit us up on Super Chat as well. We'll see who the Super Chat leader of the night is. Last night it was my man, Patrick C. Hamilton. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick, one of the top members of the channel. My man, Angelo Contagonis, another member, another Super Chat leader. Angelo gives it an 8 on 10. Well, he gives the main event an 8 on 10. What about the whole show, Angelo? What did you think about the whole show? What was your ranking? What's up, Doug Hepburn? That's right, Simon Boys and Johnny. My man, AJ DeLesio. Danny Brooke is in the chat. My boy, AJ. Craig Paquette giving this show an 8 out of 10. Craig, a member of the team. Hello, Craig. 8 out of 10 for Craig. And Johnny, I'm gonna let you start us off. What are you giving this show on 10? Last night, night 1, you gave a 6 out of 10, but I just saw on your Twitter feed at North Genesis that you liked tonight better than last night, so I'm assuming you're giving it a higher grade.
Yeah, slightly, yeah. I think this was a bit better. This flowed better, in my opinion, the whole show, and I thought there were just better matches overall in this show. So I'd give this one a 7.
7 on 10 for WrestleMania 37. What do you think, brother?
Well, no, just for night 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
night
overall,
2.
that'd be a 6.5.
If you're going to add them up, I suppose.
Aggregate.
That's right. What do you think tonight?
Well, I say my night 1 grade. I haven't been able to share that one with the universe. Everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, perfect.
John, you can hear him? Should he get his mic
Excellent.
up a little bit? Is he all right? What do you think? How's that?
I hear him fine.
All right, we're
All
good.
right, fantastic. Night 1, I would say 7 on 10. And match of that night, I really enjoyed the women's title match, Bianca and Sasha.
Yeah.
The Gorilla Press
was the best match.
That was your match of the night last night?
I think so, yeah.
That was Johnny's.
It had a great main event. They brought it. It was very intense throughout. The welt on Sasha's ribs after the hair whip. So that was great. But now moving on to night 2. Yeah, I guess I'd say an 8 on 10. It's a little bit better. Felt longer as a night overall. Like night 1, I disagree with John. I think night 1 flowed a bit better. Just kind of felt like matches were moving a bit faster through. But this one had a higher concentration of good matches. And my match of the night goes to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I love that match. I think it's kind of like overlooked because like a lot of crazy matches happened afterwards. But I think those guys really had brought it. Owens stunning Logan Paul. You know, it's nice to see that guy get some comeuppance. You know, he's one of those guys you see on the internet be like, I wish someone could beat him up. And then here's Kevin Owens, a fan favorite, doing just that. So 7 on 10 first night, 8 on 10 second night. So I guess that makes it 7.5 for the whole weekend. And Kevin and Sami, I have as the match of the night.
Kevin and Sami match of the night. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I'm going with Edge, Roman, Bryan as my match of the night. And I'm going to give tonight's show, I don't know. I feel like it was a good show. Maybe it's not as exciting because I just saw WrestleMania Night 1 last night, and I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, I've seen this before. You know, it wasn't as special because I saw the crowd last night. I saw the arena. I saw a lot of what makes WrestleMania special last night, so I wasn't super blown away with everything tonight. But if you look at the matches, match per match, it was very good. You know, you had some great matches. Kevin and Sami kicked ass. Sheamus and Riddle had a really good match. Even Apollo and Big E in the Nigerian drum fight was a solid wrestling match. Rhea Ripley and Asuka was very, very good. And then, of course, the main event was excellent. So I thought we had some really good wrestling tonight. Probably better top to bottom than we had last night. But I liked last night. Last night was fun. So I'm gonna give this an 8, just like I gave last night. I'm gonna give it an even grade because I think, you know, the wrestling, it was probably better tonight overall than it was last night. But last night was really fun, and you know there was still a high level of wrestling on the card. Even though I gave a guy Bad Bunny, you know, the match of the night, and a man who was having his first wrestling match, it was just a special match. It was a lot of fun. Bianca and Sasha also had a tremendous match last night, as did Cesaro and Seth. But tonight I thought was a little bit more consistent. You know, I thought the first hour dragged, but then once we got past the first couple of matches there, the Randy and Fiend match, and then the Nia and Shayna versus Natty and Tamina, once we hit Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, we were off and running. We had that, Sheamus, Riddle, Apollo, Big E, Rhea, Asuka, and then the main event. Like, it was boom, 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 all good matches, starting with the third match of the night. So I'm going to give it the same grade as I gave last night's WrestleMania, which is an 8 on 10. I'm seeing a lot of different grades right now. Let's see here. Bob Cote, 8.5. Doug Hepburn, 7 out of 10. Says Riddle and Sheamus was his match of the night. Paul M. says 8 out of 10. His favorite match was KO and Sami. But he says the triple threat was match of the night. But he liked KO and Sami. I could see why you might have a preference there. Mako, very specific, giving it a 7 on 3 on 10.
All right.
Angelo didn't watch night 1. He says watch part of night 2. Angelo, member of the team, he's given it a solid 7.5. Derek John giving tonight a 7.5. Matthew the Magician giving it 8.5. So some pretty high grades. I think Johnny probably gave it one of the lower grades with a 7. Most people kind of higher up. But Johnny is very hard to please. You know, that's why we love Johnny, because he's hard to please. He's not one of these guys.
Pretty good grade.
For Johnny, 7 is pretty damn excellent. 7 is basically a 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Johnny is very much the pitchfork of wrestling reviews.
I don't get that.
It's an indie music website where if you get a 7, it's like getting a 10.
Cool.
So,
Johnny, you're pitchfork, okay? You're a pitchfork.
That's a compliment.
Johnny Pitchfork.
You're very echoey right now.
Am I? Who? Me?
Yeah, just you. I don't know what's going on there.
How about now?
Now you're a bit better.
1, 2, 3, 4. How about now, Johnny?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, it's because his mic is in here and we're trying to adjust the settings. That's the thing. He's not loud enough.
We're catching each other.
Yeah, you're catching me on his mic because we're not used to having in-studio deal. How about now, Johnny? How we sounding?
Oh, you're sounding a little echoey.
God damn, pal.
Damn, pal.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to figure this out.
Adjustments.
How's this now,
There you go,
Johnny?
you're good.
Good now?
No, you're better now.
I think
Yeah,
we
you're
have
good
to
now.
stay further away from each other, too.
Get away from me.
Yeah, I'm going to stay further away
Yeah,
from
6
him.
feet, guys.
All right?
Mm-hmm. But Johnny, you're a hard man to please. You're a real critic. That's what we're
Well,
talking
they
about.
pleased me tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
I was overall, I enjoyed tonight more than I enjoyed last night. You have to understand, last night, 45 minutes, you're waiting for a show, and you realize the show's gonna like drag on a bit. It hurt a lot last night. Like tonight, it just seemed like there was action right away. That helped a lot.
That's true. And one thing I noticed about this WrestleMania weekend, we were discussing it a bit before the show, my brother and I, a lot of heel victories. A lot of heels winning matches for titles, defending titles, which felt very anti-WrestleMania to me. Because to me, WrestleMania was always about, throughout the rest of the regular calendar year, the heels would always get away with the title. They wouldn't get their comeuppance. But then when you watched Mania is when you'd finally see Stone Cold persevere, or Bret Hart, or Hulk Hogan. But this year's WrestleMania, it started with Bobby Lashley retaining the championship in a match where we thought, maybe he would, but likely wouldn't. Rhea Ripley won. Sheamus won.
Is Rhea a heel?
She felt like she was getting boost tonight.
Yeah, she's a heel.
Okay. I can't tell.
Roman Reigns came in, walked out, ended the show as a heel. Nobody came out to challenge him. No Rock appearance. A lot of heels getting away with it still. Like, Mania is just like another pay-per-view in that sense. It's not quite the season finale like it used to be.
Nobody's getting that comeuppance, baby.
Yeah.
Got to get that comeuppance.
It's Triple H's booking.
Maybe. You might be right.
More so night 2 than night 1. I feel night 1 the good guys won. Night 2 the bad guys came back in a sense.
Well, you had Bobby winning at the start, and somebody
that's
else
about
won.
That's pretty much it, though. A lot of baby faces won. Cesaro won over Seth. Although AJ and Omos, they were the heels, they won. Braun beat Shane. Bad Bunny
They
and
cheered.
Yeah.
they were but still, New Day, they're the baby faces booked going into that match. Bad
They
Bunny
wrestled
and
like heels.
yeah, but come on,
They
know
got
how it.
tag Omos and AJ.
Nah, I don't know about that. I don't see them as baby faces. They weren't booked that way leading up to the match. Bianca and
The match
Sasha,
looked like they were
I mean, they were both kind of baby faces. Yeah, the
And
match
heels.
is booked that way, John, but you know what I'm saying. Their characters aren't that way. The New Day is not a heel group.
No, they were talking a lot of like trash during the match though, and they're
come
doing
on.
like, "Oh, we're cutting off the ring. We're cutting off the ring."
Yeah,
Like,
I
they may
mean,
have booked it that way.
you could kind of say like maybe they tried to do some kind of double turn, but I don't think it's going to last.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't see it lasting.
Fans change a lot of things, right? The fans can obviously change the situation.
Yeah, but I don't think New Day is going to go back to like 2015, New Day sucks kind of era. It's not going
No.
to go back to that.
No,
era
definitely
heat.
not. I don't see them as a heel team. Anyways, I think that there were definitely some. What the hell was that? Definitely some heels.
I heard voices.
Yeah, I was hearing voices
In my
too.
head,
What is going
they
on?
counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
Yeah, opening matches for both nights, not too good. Sadly.
Oh, the opening hours for both nights were not good. That Randy Orton Fiend match was awful. My goodness, that was terrible. The Fiend walked through some kind of tunnel and he was healed, right? So he was like zombie Fiend all burnt up, and then he walked through some tunnel of lights and he became regular Fiend again. And Alexa Bliss came out in face paint and her little evil dress. And there's a giant Jack-in-the-Box next to the ring. And Alexa cranks the Jack-in-the-Box. And, of course, the Fiend pops out of it. And, they have a match in the red lights. It's not good. It's not anything, really. It's very typical. It's very boring. And then the finish has Alexa Bliss, who's been with the Fiend, trying to help him and everything the whole time. She's sitting on the Jack-in-a-Box in a different outfit because most of this has been wardrobe changes. She's sitting on the box, and she's wearing this, like, crown, and obviously this, like, black liquid that Randy's been spitting up is now coming out of this stupid crown, so it's shooting out of the crown. There's nothing magical going on here. It's ridiculous.
Terrible dinner theater.
And the Fiend gets distracted by this. He's about to hit Sister Abigail, and that's when Alexa decides to appear. Right? The Fiend has the match won. Her man is about to win. She distracts him and shows up, and then Randy hits the RKO. 1, 2, 3, it's over. What?
Now, I was a little confused at first because I saw the fire go up, so I'm like, oh, is Kane coming out? But unfortunately, it was Alexa, so that's too bad.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And once again, reinforces my theory. Bray Wyatt is everything that's wrong with America. This guy has been sitting at home last, 3 months since he got burned alive? Sitting at home, hanging out with JoJo, collecting his money. Everyone's suffering out there. He's all out there. Then he walks in, works 5 minutes of a lousy match, probably won't show up again for another 3 months, and is going to get paid handsomely the entire time. All because he's IRS's son.
I mean...
Fuck you, Wyndham Rotunda.
He's not good.
Fuck you.
Looks like he's lost weight, though. I thought it was O for a second.
I don't give a shit. He can afford a personal trainer.
He is not good.
I'm not
He
saying
is
I
not
enjoyed it. Just I was very surprised. I didn't think Randy was going to win this one. I'm kind of happy he won, but didn't expect that.
I mean, I did not expect that finish, right? I didn't expect Alexa to cost the Fiend the match. The match sucked, the finish was stupid, and now the worst part of it is we have to continue this Fiend Alexa bullshit.
So at least SummerSlam.
That's the worst part of WrestleMania so far. That was the worst match, worst finish, worst everything that we've seen over the 2 nights. That was by far the worst. The worst everything. Worst entrance, worst finish, worst match. It was goddamn awful. Even Randy's entrance was stupid, like pretending to slide on the thing. I don't know what he was doing there.
What was it?
Like the rain was slippery on the ramp, so Randy was having trouble walking. I don't know what was going on there, but it was goddamn stupid. That was the worst part of WrestleMania. I don't think there's anything I enjoyed less than this. Trash.
And it was even worse than their first WrestleMania match with the bugs on the screen, on the mat and everything. That match was technically better. This was worse than House of Horrors.
This wasn't long, though, so at least we're
Still can be worse. Yeah. I was so happy. When I saw that this was opening the card, I said, hallelujah, because if this was going on at 10:30 at night, I would be fast asleep and I'd be struggling to stay awake right now. If this was way later up on the card. I thought this was going to be near the end of the night, and I was dreading this, but when I saw Randy coming out, I was like, yes, smart. Get rid of this. Get this out of the way. Could not wait to get rid of that. Fucking Bray Wyatt.
And that's what helped. I felt the night flowed better because you got through the matches that weren't that particularly good, and you got to the better matches later on.
Yeah, they were able to figure it out. They know the audience that well.
Johnny, how do I sound right now? Is there an echo when I'm talking? What's going on?
No, you're good now.
I'm good now? How do you sound? Give me a mic test.
I feel fine. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, if you're out there in Radio Land.
Good, John?
For me, you're good.
All right. How does we sound all right to everybody? Because I'm getting information where it's there's echo and there's things going on. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
It could be our mics just catching it, just be a circumstance.
I don't know. AJ says we sound good. AJ says maybe John's volume is not that loud, but that's AJ. I don't know. So apparently we sound good. I don't know. We got to test the mics because this is the first time we've been doing one of these shows here together in a studio for a very long time. And who knows? It might be... Apparently it's perfect now.
Mr. Perfect.
All right. That's good. Thanks to everybody saying we're good. Angelo, Doug Ogilvy, TK, Joe Nunez. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. And AJ, of course, my man. My man, AJ. I love you, brother. I love you, AJ. Don't forget to become a member of the team. Go to donate.ringsidereport.net. Go to merch.ringsidereport.net so you can get... Oh, no. Mako's saying that there's some echo now.
Mako said echo.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. John?
Again, you're fine for me.
Get merch with our faces on it. There's AJ's face. Get some merch. All right? All right. So that match was goddamn awful. I did not like it whatsoever. Terrible stuff. Hulk Hogan, Titus O'Neil, and Eric Bischoff are backstage. Bayley shows up, and she wants Eric Bischoff to be on Ding Dong Hello, and then Bischoff doesn't seem too down with it. And then Bischoff and Hogan decide that they're going to go on a boat, and then Titus is like, hey, I want to go on a boat. They left Titus behind for some reason. And then, yeah, that was a weird segment.
Very awkward.
All
the Hogan segments were awkward.
Hogan and Titus came out to start the show dressed as pirates, saying ahoy matey and all sorts of stuff. Hogan was like, scurvy dogs, scallywags, brother. And Titus was like, ho, ho, you can't call the people scallywags. And Hogan's like, are you going to make me walk the plank, brother? And Titus is like, no, I'll take care of it, Hulk. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was very strange. Like, Titus's, like, energy is very, like Hogan would come out, brother, and then Titus is just like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Let's just get on with the show. Like, it was a very strange kind of, like, I don't know if they were trying to do some kind of comedy, straight man, crazy man segment, or I don't know. But, very uncomfortable the entire weekend. Those guys did not have good chemistry on stage.
All right. I'm just trying to figure out the mics right now. I'm still... I don't know what's going on.
Well, again, you sound good on my end. And to me, it just seemed like awkward writing. Like, they tried to make it seem like, yeah, one guy was the serious guy, one guy was, like, off the edge kind of thing, and, like, it just didn't seem like it worked.
No, it just seemed like Titus was trying to stop his, like, racist grandpa from saying something he would regret, Not grandpa.
Well, I think it also threw it off that people were like booing Hogan as well. So it's like, yeah. I think they were trying to cover that as well.
In deep Hogan country, I don't think they were expecting that.
I mean,
fans are like that, though.
Yeah, that's what fans are like, man. That's, and I think the real indication of what the fans were doing with the Hogan segments was how they were treating Bayley. Because eventually, Hogan and Titus come out, Bayley's there, and Bayley's like, hit my pyro. Then they hit her pyro. And then Bayley's like, I've been carrying you guys. I've been the host of this show and having you guys on my back past couple of days. And then the Bella Twins show up, and they're like, there. They start talking. Bayley's like, no, I don't know what you twin idiots are doing here. You look like Elmo, but John Cena's not here. And then Nikki smacks the mic out of Bayley's hand. And then the Bellas say ding dong goodbye, and then they start beating on Bayley, and the crowd turned. The crowd was like, boo. They did not like that. They did not like that Bayley was being attacked by the Bella Twins. I saw that there was a rumor that spot was supposed to be Becky Lynch coming back and attacking Bayley instead. That would have been a much better move because the crowd would have liked that. But this was, this did not work. This is a live crowd, and they did not like this. So, I was happy to see Bayley get that kind of reception. They were chanting her name last night, and tonight they boo her getting attacked by the Bellas. I think if Becky would have shown up, Becky maybe a little bit more favored by the fans. The Bellas did spend most of their careers as heels. Becky is mostly a babyface and people want to see her. So I think if Becky would have taken that spot, it would have worked. But I love the live fans just booing that spot. Not only booing Hogan, but they booed the Bella Twins tonight attacking Bayley.
And then Titus saying, like, ding dong goodbye again, like it's a catchphrase. Who rings the doorbell to say goodbye? That's what I don't get.
I don't know.
No?
I mean, yeah, that's kind of besides the point. But yeah, Titus was kind of
just a
endorsing.
stupid line.
Yeah.
Titus was endorsing that, and they were not feeling it. Like the
No.
crowd was like, "Boo!" The crowd kind of cheered, booed at the end. Like some people were like, "Yeah," but that segment did not go over.
Yeah, like sometimes they'll have a segment at WrestleMania where there'll be a current wrestler getting like beat up by legends and stuff, but this was just a bad combination. You know, Bayley's a bit too loved, and the Bellas are just a bit perceived too much as like, you know, heels, and like, you know, like quote unquote wrestling fans don't like them. You know, you've had your troubles with Bella haters on Twitter and stuff, so you know that, but you know the general perception of them. So them coming out, you know, retired and punching Bayley and beating her up and make her look like a fool, people just aren't going to respond well to that. While Becky, you know, could be like, oh, you know, is this an angle? Is this a feud? You know, it's fiery. You know, Bella's, it just seems like, oh, it's just, you know, old timers coming in and like beating on the young talent that we don't like.
They're not beloved by wrestling fans.
No.
You know?
Like
It's
if you said
also
Trish
2-on-1.
Stratus to do, would be fine. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we just never got, you know, that full Bayley segment. You know, she kept teasing, you know, I'm going to have a talk show segment. And she finally gets to it. And then it's just awkward finish where she gets, like, pummeled and, like, tossed around. It's just like, what was the point of all that?
Yep. What was the point of all that?
Good question.
Didn't make anybody look
Got a
good.
WrestleMania moment.
Did you? Where the Bellas got booed for beating up Bayley? Who got a WrestleMania moment there? Bayley?
Titus?
No, they all got a moment. They're all on stage. They all got to have a moment. Wasn't a great moment, but they had one.
Just because you're on WrestleMania doesn't mean it's a WrestleMania moment. I don't think that works. Not every moment is a moment.
That's definitely true.
You know? That was not a WrestleMania moment. Bianca winning the belt last night. WrestleMania moment. Bayley getting beat up by the Bellas. Some shit you want to forget. Not fucking good. There was a lot of stuff tonight that was not great. There was some stuff that was goddamn excellent, right? Randy and the Fiend, terrible. Bayley getting shit on, bad. No Charlotte, no Becky, you know, disappointing. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, though, fantastic. What an excellent match. That match was very, very good. Kevin gets the win over Sami after a stunner. Sami hit a brainbuster on Kevin Owens during that match that was crazy on the apron. Nuts. Logan Paul just kind of sat there ringside during the match. Afterwards, that was the big spot, right? Logan Paul comes in, congratulates Kevin Owens for winning. Sami gets mad, gets in Logan's face. Logan pushes Sami down. And Sami's like mad and he rolls out of the ring. And then Logan goes to like celebrate with Kevin Owens and he holds his hand up and Kevin's like not really into it. He's like, yeah, I don't know. You just kind of pushed my friend. I don't know you, Logan Paul. You're just jumping on the Kevin Owens bandwagon because I won now, and you just pushed Sami Zayn, who I've got history with. You're just Logan Paul. Like, you can see Kevin Owens kind of going through that in his mind. Like, I don't know about this guy. It was really good stuff from Kevin Owens telling the story with his face there after the match. And then you knew what was coming. Boom, kick, stunner. And Logan Paul sold the hell out of that stunner. Good job taking the stunner from Logan Paul. Hell yeah. Great stuff from Kevin Owens hitting that stunner on Logan Paul. This is what I wanted to see. That's a moment. You want to talk about WrestleMania moments? That's a WrestleMania moment. You have a kick-ass match with one of your dearest friends in pro wrestling, and then you stunner one of the biggest names in the world today, Logan Paul. That guy got a pop. He's got some fans, and Kevin Owens, boom, hits a stunner on him. That was fantastic. Great match. Great finish. Great post-match WrestleMania moment with a celebrity involved, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Could be the start of things. You know, you could have Logan Paul come back, you know, maybe for a SummerSlam match. You know, his brother does some boxing. You could bring him into. And also, now this kind of like maybe Sami and Kevin will have some kind of babyface reunion, which would be pretty cool. They haven't done that so far in the Fed. You know, having, you know, like Steen Erico, kind of old school.
As a babyface team?
Yeah, they were kind of teams as heel for a bit, you know, but they were never face together. So, be good. It could be very strong tag team.
It's possible. John, what'd you think of that match? Pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think problem is, like, I've seen that match like many times, so like I felt like I watching the whole match, it's like I felt like I've seen almost all of this before. Maybe just not in the same order, but I've seen a lot of these moves, a lot of the setups, and like it's good. No, don't get me wrong about that, but it's just like I've seen this, and it just wasn't anything new. So that kind of took away from like for me saying it was the match of the night. Again,
Yeah.
great match. I'm happy Kevin got to have his family at ringside, and that was a great moment for
That
him.
was nice.
Great moment to have. Like you always say, he got to wrestle Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, so that's great. But like, it was just good for me because like I've seen them have matches, and like I just felt like this was like a repeat.
Do you think they become a tag team?
I don't know. I'm liking Sammy with the whole conspiracy theory. Like I don't think he's pushed that enough yet, and I think they like that a lot. Like the way he pushes that. I think that's the best thing that he has going right now. I wouldn't turn him face right now. If you turn him face, like the conspiracy has to go in his favor. And I don't think we're going in that direction, at least not yet.
People want to know, why is Logan Paul such a big deal? I mean, look, he's such a big name. He's a 0-1 pro boxer. He's got like 23 million subscribers or something on YouTube. The guy is a massive star. I don't really know much about him, but a lot of people like him. And, a 1-0 boxer who's going to get Floyd Mayweather to step into a ring.
Is that Logan or Jake?
That's Logan.
That's Logan.
That's the guy you saw tonight. He's supposed to box Floyd Mayweather at some point. They postponed the fight, but it's supposed to happen. His brother Jake is going to box Ben Askren in a big pay-per-view next Saturday. So, look, you can argue with these guys. You can like them or not, but they're big deals. They're big stars. They're very well known, and they have a lot of fans. They have a lot of people that like them and watch their videos and pay attention to what they do. So having them at WrestleMania is a big deal. And look, again, if you're an 0-1 boxer and somehow Floyd Mayweather wants to box you, that means something about your celebrity status, right? So
Your money.
that's it, your money. You can
Like it or
draw
not.
money. So you could like him, you could not like him, whatever. And he definitely got booed there at the end. When he came out, there was some people cheering for him. But by the end there, when he came out and was, pushing Sammy and trying to celebrate with Kevin Owens, like the fans had turned on him by that point, and it was perfectly timed there, the stunner for Kevin Owens. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was really a good match. And, we'll see what happens with Kevin and Sammy going forward. I thought Sammy's contract might expire this year. There's rumors that it does. But it's possible that he's re-signed and just hasn't said anything about it. So we'll see where Sami Zayn goes in the future. Kevin Owens, I don't know. Roman's still champion, and Kevin's had many shots there. So we'll see where Kevin Owens goes next. But they had a hell of a match at WrestleMania tonight. Shayna and Nia over Tamina and Natty. Shayna got Natty to choke out with her Karafuda clutch. The match was, I don't know. A lot of Tamina looking pretty tired. Trying to body slam Nia Jax. Didn't quite work out there. And at that point, it looked like she wanted out of the match. I don't know. Didn't it look like she was like, I have to keep doing this? Like, god damn. I'm usually in like a 2-minute match. Like, I really have to wrestle for like 10 minutes here? This is ridiculous. She looked tired. She looked tired.
Night too.
Last night she looked tired. Tonight she looked tired. The match was 14 minutes, 15 seconds. And yeah. No, wait. That wasn't tonight. Yeah, no. 15-20. Yeah. 14-20. This was a 14-minute match tonight. Like, it's long. Tamina doesn't usually wrestle long matches like that, and she was in the ring for a lot of it. There was
Very
a
little natty.
lot less natty than I expected. It was like mostly Tamina and Nia, I guess, because they have that family connection. They really wanted to do most of the wrestling, but to me, you would put Shayna and Natty in there for most of it and kind of avoid Nia and Tamina, but there was just too much Nia versus Tamina for the match to be good. It was bowling shoe ugly, as Jim Ross would say.
I think the problem was it was just too long, the match. Like, I think if they just made it about 10 minutes max, I think it would have been better, but it just went 5 minutes too long.
Yeah, it was too long, and it was just not very good. Let's see. Matt Riddle was backstage with Great Khali. Wants Khali to open a giant store for giants. things for Giants. And then Rob Van Dam shows up. And I love seeing Riddle and Van Dam. I think they'd be a great tag team, just smoking weed all day. RVD gives them rolling papers, which I was surprised that Vince allowed on his show, a man just giving out papers used to roll joints. Like, that was
And cigarettes, and tobacco cigarettes, if you so choose.
Yeah, but, like, come on, man. What am I using papers for?
In France, it's mostly for cigarettes. They sell rolling papers everywhere in France, and with satchels of like little packets of tobacco. People don't really roll joints.
With a Jamaican flag on it that says Irie?
Probably, yeah. And like zigzags and all those brands.
Okay, brother, if you say so.
That's the French way.
I'm just saying RVD has his own rolling papers, and I want my own rolling papers. Ringside Report rolls. You know, rolling papers with like jiu-jitsu guys on them. You know, rolling papers. Get it?
Hey,
oh,
you know.
shit. Jiu-jitsu-based rolling
Copyright
papers.
that.
Nobody steal my idea. Jiu-jitsu rolling papers. Rolling papers. AJ's doing it right now. He's stealing it as we speak. I know he is.
Got a little
AJ! But RVD giving out papers to Riddle and Khali, like, I was a little surprised.
A lot has changed.
Yeah, well, the wellness policy, like, you don't get suspended anymore or fined for smoking weed, so it's more accepted now.
As it should be. Maybe not in the state of Florida, but in many states in the Union. As it is across our great nation of Canada. Completely legalized, sold by government stores in every province in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Good God Almighty.
What a day to live.
What a crazy time we're living in. Mm-hmm. What a crazy time. Our city apparently was on fire for a good chunk. Not fully on fire, scale. But there were riots going down
windows
in the city of
Not
Montreal.
for a hockey game for once.
No, it wasn't a hockey game. They were protesting the earlier curfew. Our curfew was at 9:30, and now tonight they pushed it to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. curfew in Montreal, and people were protesting that.
Because it's nice out.
Just a wild time to be alive, baby. Just a wild time.
We've talked about this. There's a difference between protesting and rioting.
Well, there was
Complete
both.
difference.
There was protests and riots. There was protests and riots. And, yeah, I mean, sometimes they overlap. Sometimes it's hard to tell what is a protest and what is a riot. And anyway, let's not get into it. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about WrestleMania. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping the super chat. Thank you, Patrick. You were the super chat leader last night, and once again, currently the super chat leader. Patrick C. Hamilton says, couldn't watch tonight here for everyone's view if I missed it. Shout out to Patrick, good man, out in Regina, Saskatchewan.
I've been there.
Where there is no curfew.
Lovely town.
I've not been.
Very flat.
Franco says this government is whack. Franco, I don't disagree with you, my man. I do not disagree. Matt Riddle and Sheamus. What a tremendous match this was. Sheamus versus Riddle. Sheamus tried to do the white noise off the top rope, but his foot slipped off. Managed to hold on to Riddle, though, as he came down and stayed standing and then dropped him with that white noise in the ring. He made up for it, but it would have been a really sweet spot from the top rope. Like, that would have been awesome. But the match was very, very good. Sheamus beats Riddle with a knee, kind of like a half bro kick, half knee, to the face and chest after Riddle was doing moonsault off the ropes. Kind of like a lion salt type move, right? Riddle does like a lion salt right into a big kick knee from Sheamus. Riddle goes down, 1, 2, 3. Riddle comes up bleeding. John, I saw you tweet about it. You thought that maybe he bit his tongue on that spot?
That's what I thought, just the way like he landed. It seemed like he did, and that much blood would make sense.
A lot of blood. He kept bleeding, like, as the camera's going, like, it was like coming up. And
yeah, it
biting
was
your
a lot.
tongue pretty hard will do that to you, or your cheek.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's gotta hurt.
Ouch. And with that much blood in the tongue, like, do they do stitches?
They could.
Do they stitch the tongue? Can they do stitches on a tongue?
I guess so.
I don't know. I'm
If it's
really
really
not a
that
doctor.
deep.
Yeah.
Ouchie. Ouchies.
Maybe it could naturally heal, but they gotta bandage it. I don't know.
That sounds painful as hell.
Yeah.
Ugh, poor Riddle. That was rough, though, and, like, it made the match, like, the fact that he came up bleeding at the finish made it so much more impactful, right? Like, it was a hard-hitting match the whole time. They beat the shit out of each other. I think they even did better than what they did a couple weeks ago on Raw, which was a very, very good match with a similar finish, but this finish was even better. The match was even better. I thought it was excellent. I really, really enjoyed the match tonight, and the fact that Riddle came up bloody, I think added impact to it, right?
Yeah, definitely added to it. I mean, because this was the only match you saw blood, so it just showed you like these hits, they actually connect with their hits. So you just felt some realism in this match. I felt the crowd just wasn't into it as much as probably it should have been. I don't know if it was because of the past match, but it felt like about this match the crowd was starting to die a bit.
Yeah, you're saying that because it was the two worker matches.
Well, that's the problem, right? Because Kevin and Sami just tore the house down and had a very similar match where it's like they're working really hard and they're having a big wrestling match and there's not that much hype behind it. There's not a great deal of build to this match. And then again for Riddle and Sheamus, plus we just seen it a couple weeks ago on Raw. So if you're really paying attention, it's like, well, it's nothing new. So it's a very similar style match, right? It's Kevin and Sami, and then Riddle and Sheamus back to back. Kevin and Sami, two guys work their asses off. You've seen them wrestle a bunch, and there wasn't much build. Riddle and Sheamus, two guys work their asses off. You've seen them wrestle before, and not much build. Like, it was a very similar match to put back to back. Obviously, they work different styles, but it was hard hitting and, very good wrestling. They were workers. They're real wrestlers that go in there and put in the work. They're not super showmen. They're not entertainers, And you had, in the previous match with Kevin Owens, you had the Logan Paul, the celebrity factor, right? So that added so much more buzz. So to follow it up with Riddle and Sheamus, I think, hurt that match because the crowd was just not that into it because we just seen that type of match. Like, if you're a wrestling fan that likes workers, like really good in-ring stuff, you got your fill. So you're getting it again, and it's like, oh, cool, but I just saw a really good one. Like,
you're still digesting.
I think one of those matches should have opened the show. Yeah. I think maybe Riddle and Sheamus could have opened the show, and then you put the women's tag match in between Kevin and Sami and Riddle and Sheamus. I think a good match in between those two, not or a lesser match maybe in between those two, Randy and the Fiend even, I think, because that's an entertainment style match, right? So you put entertainment style matches between the real workers matches. Problem is, tonight you had so many kind of workers matches, right? Because you followed that up with Apollo and Big E, and I think even Rhea and Asuka were hurt by the fact that it was just like boom, 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 and it was good, but it was very similar in the sense that there wasn't much build, there wasn't much hype for any of these matches. In the ring, they kicked ass, but it was like, okay, cool, I'm watching good wrestling matches, which is great. But for a WrestleMania, you want that, like, the sizzle. And the sizzle wasn't always there. It was just like, oh, okay, cool match.
Well, the special attraction matches were on, like, the first night. The Steel Cage match, the Bad Bunny match.
Yeah. Tonight was just like, here's two people that are good at wrestling. Enjoy the match. And I did, but for WrestleMania, you would expect a little bit more, especially WWE. Shout out to Dor out in Israel for the tip over at donate.ringsidereport.net. Don't forget, you could go to donate.ringsidereport.net, give us a tip, buy us a coffee. Thank you, Dor out in Israel. Appreciate you. And thank you to Angelo. Angelo dropping the super chat, and he is now the super chat leader of the night. Always doing it, bringing it, Angelo. Thank you, Angelo. Just drops the super chat, drops it right in there. Tremendous. But I think it was just like a lot of good wrestling with not much build. So it was like cool, but maybe as standalone matches they get a bigger pop, right? Like the crowd was just not super into everything they saw.
Well, I think what also true, Big E and Apollo, that was like a gimmick match. So it was more than just a wrestling match. They did a lot of stunts in that match. So I think that took away a bit from Ripley and Asuka, because I think I just went black for a second.
Yeah, you're back.
I think that took away from their match, because that was just more of a wrestling match. So you go from like a hardcore match to a regular match. It was kind of let down a bit.
Yeah, I agree. That match was really good, though, Rhea and Asuka. Wale performs Big E's theme for the Nigerian drum fight. Now, we found out what the Nigerian drum fight was tonight, which was nice to see, right? It's a no DQ match where the ring is surrounded by percussion instruments and kendo sticks and tables.
A lot of djembes.
Is that what they're called?
Stairs.
The drum where you can hold it,
The like bongo thing?
but you hold it like in between your legs.
Djembe?
It's a djembe.
All right. Well, there was a gong, too, which is not a traditionally African instrument. The gong, traditionally an Asian instrument, but for some reason they were just like, yeah, fuck it, a gong. A gong's always good in a wrestling match. Yeah. It was all right. Like, the wrestling was good. I liked it. It was kind of weird. You know, they were hitting each other with drums and whatever. The rock bottom, or whatever you want to call it, that Big E did to Apollo from the apron down to the steel steps was the most devastating move of the match. One of the most devastating moves of the night.
That was brutal.
What was the most devastating bump of the night? Was it that? That was pretty goddamn nasty, right?
I mean, the Sheamus kick to Riddle is pretty nasty, too.
Yeah.
The aftermath, especially.
Yeah, but as far as like a straight whaboom bump, the Asuka DDT on Rhea was pretty impressive off the apron. The brainbuster from Sammy on Kevin was pretty impressive.
Execution from Jey Uso on the steel steps.
Yeah, that was all right, but I don't know. For my money, I would say that because of the way Apollo landed, like not quite flat, he kind of landed on his side on the steps. That was a bump of the night for me. That was nasty, John. What do you think about that? What's the bump of the night?
I would say from the Riddle and Sheamus match, it would have to be when they did that belly-to-belly moonsault off the top. Because just the way they both landed on that looked like that killed Riddle. Because it looked like he ate Sheamus's knees on the way down.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty too. Hell of a match. Really good, hard-hitting wrestling tonight. Dor says he woke up at 2 a.m. out in Israel to see Mania, and he woke up to see Daniel Bryan win. What a disappointment. 7 out of 10 for the show, but the worst part was Rhea Ripley's entrance. So weird. He didn't like... Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that song. And the singer was, I don't know. I thought it was Shotzi Blackheart at first.
The song is good. It just wasn't performed very well, unfortunately.
Is the song good?
That heavy metal thing that like WWE's going for, like everybody's got like a heavy metal gimmick. You know, everybody's got the loud like I'm brutal. Bah, 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 bah.
It's like Damian Priest and all these songs kind of sound the same.
Aleister Black.
Yeah.
You know, Walter or no,
Walter's got cool song. Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa. Everybody.
And they all have that, you know, like the spikes and like the biker kind of gimmick. It's Triple H. It's Triple H's kind of influence. It's like everybody's got like a Motorhead
heavy metal
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't work because then everybody seems the same.
And they are.
And, you know, a lot of heavy metal is kind of boring.
Metal,
oh, yeah. But of course
whatever.
Motorhead is heavy metal.
Whatever.
They call themselves everything louder than everything else.
There you go. Or whatever that you want to call them, John. It's that style.
Yeah.
Leather and spikes and
thrash.
Like, guitars. Loud guitars and like yelling and shit. Aggressive rock. Okay?
German kind of imagery.
There's a lot of aggressive rock themes in the WWE, and I don't know if it necessarily reflects culture as a whole. Like when Bad Bunny comes out to his song, it's like, oh, this is a good entrance. Like, yeah. That feels more current, you know? Like Bad Bunny's song, when he comes out, it's like, yeah, cool. Maybe that's why I like Miz and Morrison's entrance, because at least they came out with like a beat. Everybody's coming out to these like loud guitars pretty much, you know? Sasha Banks has a good song. Snoop Dogg, you know? It's good. But I don't know, like I think there's definitely a place for that type of music in pro wrestling, but I think you are right that they kind of overdo it, and that song and that band that entrance for Rhea Ripley.
Viking Raiders have that kind of thing too.
They all have it.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much everybody has
got
it. Like the
Ascension.
ones that don't are few and far between, right? Like New Day has like a little funky tune, you know. But overall, it's mostly like aggressive rock for every WWE entrance, which you understand why. But it's like even Asuka,
Yeah.
you know, they've all got that type of song. Doesn't even suit Asuka's character really, but it's just like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, but she makes it work though with her entrance though, I find.
Yeah, well, Asuka makes it work because she's awesome, you know. I just think that maybe like some more drum and bass beats, some more hip hop style beats might liven things up in WWE. Like I thought Bad Bunny's entrance was fantastic, and his music, you know, that Booker T song, very good wrestling theme entrance. I also like what AEW's doing. I think it's really smart to just license songs. They licensed that Pixie song for Orange Cassidy. They licensed Tarzan Boy for Jungle Boy. I think that's really good. I think, nothing's better than like a real hit for your wrestler. You know, when Sandman came out to Enter Sandman, like, fuck yeah. You know, that's awesome. Patrick C. Hamilton. Drop in the super chat. He says, Ben, Glenn, Green Phantom join the co-host roster, but the team of Dave and Johnny are the tops. I think he's taking a shot at you a little bit.
I mean, you know,
he's like, you're all right, but Dave and Johnny are really the best.
I know I'm a supporting player.
It's been a while,
you know.
too.
You know, some people know, when they're leading men, and some people don't. You know,
You're all right.
Yeah,
You're a good man.
You know.
Patrick loves you. Patrick still loves you. Thank you, Patrick.
I'm a character actor.
Patrick is now the super chat leader of the night once again, taking over from Angelo. Patrick in the lead. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for supporting the team and recognizing how many co-hosts we have. I mean, look at the work we are putting into the team. So many different people on the show. John, I know you like aggressive rock. I know you are, and so do I. You know, I've been to my share of things. I've seen the guys.
I've seen some bands.
I saw Slipknot when they had the masks on and they were crazy, and their first album was out only. That's all that was out. Okay, John? I see you post on Instagram with your Slipknot and your aggressive rock. Just know that I was there. I saw them. I was like 16, and I saw Slipknot at their peak, so... I've been around the aggressive rock, my friend.
Kind of snuck into that show, didn't you?
It was 18 plus,
Spectrum?
but they didn't if you had a ticket, they let you in. The venue was technically an 18 plus venue, but they didn't card you to buy a ticket. So if you bought a ticket, you could go in, and that's what we did. And you could also buy alcohol because if you had a ticket and you were in, they were not gonna,
Those are the days.
Yeah, I mean, old school. Back in the day. Let's not name the venue. I don't know if it was a Spectrum. I'm not saying
it's
exactly.
not around anymore.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was. I don't know. I'm not saying what venue it was. I don't want to shame anybody. It could have been the Metropolis. I don't know. Let's just say it was a venue in Montreal. But this is way back in the early 2000s. I'm an old man now, and I don't like the aggressive rock so much. I like country music from the 70s. That's what I'm into these days.
Chilled out.
George Jones, Roger Miller, Waylon Jennings. These are the people that I listen to on a daily basis. My God, I love George Jones. Like, if a wrestler came out with some Waylon Jennings, I would mark out like crazy.
If only Honky Tonk Man knew.
Just a good old boy. Never meaning no harm.
Otis would be great for that.
Oh, my God. If Otis came out to that song, that would be great. You know the theme from Dukes of Hazzards? Just a good old boy. Oh. Tremendous. I would love that shit. I would mark out. Anyways, what the fuck are we talking about? WrestleMania?
And heavy metal.
Heavy metal, brother.
Rhea Ripley, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And her entrance.
Asuka's entrance was way cooler than Rhea Ripley's. I don't know if you noticed this, John, but as a big Animal Crossing player and as a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I realize how big the cherry blossoms are for Japanese people. And this is cherry blossom season, so there were cherry blossoms dropping, or as the Japanese call it, sakura. It is sakura season in Japan, and the cherry blossoms were dropping for Asuka's entrance, which I thought was very cool. A nice nod to Japan. Even New Japan has a pay-per-view called Sakura Genesis. which translates to Cherry Blossom Genesis, Cherry Blossom season, Sakura. So Asuka paying, homage and showing the culture, Sakura. I loved it. I thought that was very cool. And, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But I know, and I liked it. John, were you aware of the cherry blossoms and that it was cherry blossom season and how important it is in Japanese culture? The cherry blossoms very important, John.
Yeah, I didn't really catch on to that. I just got onto the fact that it seemed like Ripley, it was her time, and I'm glad she won the championship. They made up for last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I was too busy thinking about cherry blossoms. I thought the match was very good, though. You know me, I'm a sucker for Asuka. I always want Asuka to win. I thought it would have been a nice thing for Asuka to beat Rhea Ripley. You're having Bianca win last night. Rhea comes in. It's like, yeah, all right. I guess. Oh, Angelo dropped in the super chat. And I think he's doing that to just edge out Patrick. He says, loving the work you and Johnny do on a weekly basis. And I think does it edge out Patrick? Like, now I got to do math here, guys, to see who the leader is. Yeah. I think. Just by a bit. I think Angelo is the new leader. But Dor just dropped another one.
Oh.
So thank you, Dor, out in Israel, going over at donate.ringsidereport.net. We appreciate you, Dor. To everybody watching on Facebook and Twitch, you can go to donate.ringsidereport.net if you want to send a message to the team. Support the channel at the same time. If you're not watching on YouTube and you can't drop a super chat, you can do it. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, over at donate.ringsidereport.net. Thank you, Angelo. Angelo, the new leader of the night, if my math is correct. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I am wrong. Patrick or Angelo, you guys can figure it out. But I'm pretty sure it's Angelo right now. By a hair. By a hair.
Or a nose.
I thought the match was very good, though, between Rhea and Asuka tonight. Rhea hitting the Riptide on Asuka for the 1, 2, 3. Asuka with that killer DDT, like I mentioned there, off the apron to the floor. That was nasty. But I was a little disappointed to see Asuka drop the belt. I wanted to see Asuka win. I wanted to see Asuka retain. I feel like we're pushing new people up from NXT very quickly, and that's fine, but like, what about everybody else? Are you really sacrificing, Sasha and Asuka, having them lose cleanly here? And how do they come back from this? I just wonder what's next for Sasha and Asuka at this point. And Asuka, I think, has done a tremendous job as the Raw Women's Champion over the past year. I think she is the best women's wrestler in the company right now. Still, I think Asuka is number one, and I wanted to see her hold on to the belt until Becky came back because I thought that would have been a great story. I'm pretty sure they're still 1-1 in their matches. Their matches together have been tremendous, and Asuka has really been champion since Becky had to give up the title because she was pregnant, and she gave it to Asuka, right? Asuka won the Money in the Bank thinking she was earning a title shot against Becky. Instead, she just earned the title because Becky was leaving. I thought it would be a great story to have Asuka as this dominant champion. She beats Rhea Ripley at Mania. She beats everybody. And then Becky comes back to take back what is hers and either wins or doesn't. I thought that story would have been great. But we didn't get that. We got Rhea Ripley beating Asuka, which, Rhea's okay. Rhea's good and all. I know a lot of people love Rhea. And I don't dislike Rhea, but I'm not, blown away by Rhea yet. I think she's good. I don't know. She doesn't do anything to me that is that out of the ordinary. There's nothing that really sets her apart from Charlotte Flair or, Shayna even. I don't see Rhea as that unique of a performer. I see Bianca as far more unique. There are things that set Bianca apart, like that gorilla press on Sasha last night. Find me somebody else on the roster who's going to do that. Rhea, what did she do tonight that somebody else couldn't have done?
I don't know, it was a pretty standard kind of match.
Pretty basic. I'm not blown away by Rhea Ripley. And I wanted Asuka to win. So, yeah, I wasn't really thrilled with that match. Like, the match was fine. Rhea's fine. Mostly on offense during the match. And her offense is, It's not stupendous. The best move Rhea did was that, like, suplex to bring Asuka back into the ring. Did she hit a more impressive move in that match that I missed, John? Like, I don't know, man. Were you blown away by Rhea Ripley tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't her best match, but I just feel like her and Asuka, the chemistry wasn't there. Still was a good match, though, despite the chemistry not being great. And I disagree with you. I think she's like one of the best women wrestlers they have. I think you got to put her over now to help put her in that mix among the top elite women wrestlers they have to show that, you know, she deserves to be there. You have all of them, all the other ones like Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley. They've all won the championship many times over. It's time to put Ripley in that mix that she belongs there. You got to start building up new talent. You can't just keep, you know, having Charlotte and Bayley always in the main events all the time. You got to change it up.
I think they should have called up Toni Storm. I think Toni Storm should be in this spot that Rhea's in. I think she's a much better talent.
I think she's more fun.
She's more charismatic. I think she's a better worker. I mean, if we're bringing up Aussies.
Or Io Shirai.
Yeah. Io Shirai is great.
Like, Io Shirai is way better than Rhea Ripley.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, different styles, different kind of wrestlers. Like
More
Rhea,
fun.
like I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. Like, to me, I think Rhea and Charlotte, that may have been one of the best matches we had last year, WrestleMania. It just goes to show you, sometimes you don't have the best matches with people. Like, styles make matches, and like tonight wasn't a good styles clash.
Yeah, I don't know. Rhea and Charlotte last year was okay, but I know a lot of people were freaking out about it. It was fine for me. It wasn't my favorite match. I don't know. I'm not overly impressed with Rhea Ripley. I think she's passable. She's fine. She doesn't do anything badly. Like, she's not a bad wrestler. I just don't see her as an exceptional talent. I don't see her as that special.
Kind of Seth Rollins-y.
Yeah, or like Randy Orton. Like, Randy does all the basics very well, and he's got a good look, and, you know, I get it, but, you know, at the end of the day, he doesn't do anything that spectacular. There's not going to be a holy shit moment with Randy, usually. And I don't think you're really going to see that with Rhea. It's very kind of standard. She looks the part. She does enough in the ring. Like, she carries herself well. But athletically, I don't find her that interesting. Her power game isn't much. Her, you know, like, she doesn't do any big moves, really. Everything she does is very kind of meat and potatoes. And that's fine, but I like somebody to be a little bit more special. You know, Asuka's a special talent. Her grappling really sets her apart. Her strikes set her apart. Very few hit like Asuka. Very few can pull off the smooth grappling transitions like Asuka. She's a special talent. She's different. You know? Rhea, she kind of dresses like she's like slightly angrier than Shayna. It's like a Shayna gimmick. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something with Rhea. Maybe she's just not for me. But I am not a big Rhea Ripley fan. I was not thrilled to see her win the title. And now what? Oh, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte again. Great. Like, Charlotte can come back tomorrow and challenge Rhea, and then that's where we're going. Seems obvious to me. And I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit.
Well, I'm just glad they're giving someone else a chance here. I mean, this is Rhea's like first match on the main roster. She's only going to get better. I believe she's only 24. I mean, you're going to have many years with her, so she's only going to get better from here.
She's only 24?
Yeah, she is pretty young.
No way. She can't be 24. That's really young.
You can look it up.
Oh, you're right. That's crazy. Oh, okay, I mean, yeah.
Born in 1996.
Oh, no wonder she's not that good. She hasn't been wrestling for very long. How long has she actually been wrestling? Since 2017? 2013, apparently. Which seems like a long time for a 24-year-old. She started young. Right?
Well, Paige, too, started young. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. All right, well, she's young. She's got potential. I mean, she's got size. She's got a look for sure. She will improve. But, yeah. I see way more with Bianca Belair. I see her as a far more finished product than Rhea Ripley. And to me, at WrestleMania, when you're going to win a championship against one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time at this point in Asuka, you should be maybe closer to a more finished product.
Yeah, you don't want to be a Jinder Mahal kind of level.
Yeah.
Where people regret giving you the belt.
Or it's like, hey, you're given the belt, you think you're good enough, and you stop improving. That can happen too. Ask Randy Orton. Apollo Crews got the win over Big E.
Oh, Randy.
Pins him after help from Dabba-Kato. So they do the Nigerian drum fight. There's percussion all around the ring, and Big E hits the big ending. After Apollo does a dive off the top, misses, goes through a table, Big E hits his finisher, and you think here comes Big E to retain the Intercontinental title, but no. Dabba-Kato, or at least he used to be called Dabba-Kato, when he was on Raw Underground like 9 months ago, the announcers acted like they'd never seen him before and had no idea who he was.
They don't want you to remember Raw
What
Underground.
the fuck?
They want you to forget.
He's probably going to be a new character. That's why.
It'll just be Dabba.
Or DKato.
I get that they
Or
could
Donkey Kong.
change his name. Change his name, fine. But when you are the announcers, and you've been the announcers for the show that he was on not that long ago, don't act like you don't know who the fuck he is. That's ridiculous. This is the dumbest shit I ever heard of. Like, everybody watching is like, oh, isn't that Yabba Dabba Kato?
Maybe. I don't know. Raw
Most
Underground
people-
wasn't that.
Come on, man.
Big
You
of a
knew who
thing.
that guy was. You didn't know his name was Dabba Kato?
If you didn't tell me, probably not.
But you knew he was a Raw Underground guy, right?
Maybe, but it wasn't like that memorable that they were banking on amnesia from the audience.
And I think it's
they've
fair
done
to say a lot of
they've
people,
done weaker repackages.
a lot of people only watch WrestleMania. Some people just don't watch the TV shows. So
I am not in favor of the idea of just like another kind of almost kind of gimmick of just, oh, this guy's got a bodyguard and the bodyguard's going to make sure he wins all the matches, and then the bodyguard will get more of a babyface reaction than the guy's protecting, and the guy's protecting won't like that, and then they'll start feuding. I mean, I was telling you last night about how much I didn't like almost his performance or anything, and now we got like another one of these things, you know, and it's just all like diminishing returns since Diesel, you know, like they've done this with so many different kind of bodyguard gimmicks and enforcer guys, you know, your Tyson Tomkos, your Batistas, your what's his name, the guy from the Core,
Ezekiel Jackson?
Ezekiel Jackson, yeah, he was Brian Kendrick's bodyguard.
There you
know,
go. It doesn't work. It's not a great gimmick. It worked with Diesel. It hasn't really worked with any of those guys you mentioned.
they keep going to that well.
And now Dabba-Kato, or whatever the fuck they're going to call him now, with Apollo Crews, the new Intercontinental Champion. Ugh. The match was fine, but the finish was god-awful. And I'm seeing Angelo on the chat. He says, you tell him, Dave, I'm not sold on Ripley either. There you go. Derek John says, I don't watch Raw or Raw Underground, and I knew it was Dabba-Kato. So there you go.
More observer there.
yeah, but he's informed though. Like he's on the ball with wrestling though.
But Paul M. thought it was Mace unmasked from Retribution. So, you know, people don't really know who these guys are. And that's fine. No one should know who Yabba Dabba Kato is.
Mace is a Dio Madden, isn't it? The guy who's on commentary?
Yeah.
I know that.
Good for you, Jack. Yeah, Dabba-Kato's now with Apollo. So Apollo has like a backup guy dressed in like kind of like a military uniform too. Did you notice that?
With the lapel.
Yeah,
the
what's going on?
things.
What's going on? Some sort of military Nigerian gimmick? Oh boy. Oh boy. So Apollo is continuing with this shit, and he's got a guy with him now and a belt. And Big E just lost the Intercontinental title. You know, in olden days, back in my day, when you would lose the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, that usually meant that you were on your way to a world title program and possibly a run with the belt. With Roman Reigns retaining the Universal Championship tonight and needing a babyface challenger, could that next challenger be Big E Langston?
Well, just Big E. They cut Langston, but
I'm giving him his name back. You don't listen to the New Day podcast. This guy wants his name back, so I'm giving that man his name. Big E Langston.
Put some respect on that name.
Oh, Doug Hepburn dropping that super chat. And I think he just became the leader.
Oh.
Did he just take over from Angelo?
That's quite the horse race you got going on here.
Yes, he did, by I think like $1. I think he's up on Angelo now. Doug Hepburn, thank you. He says, great work this weekend, guys. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for supporting the team.
Appreciate it.
I love it. Patrick C. Hamilton says, I watched last night, bought it on pay-per-view. My God. Patrick, you could just get the network for like $12. You don't have to buy it on pay-per-view. It's way too expensive, and you can get the thing for a month.
You can still buy
Never
it.
buy pay-per-views from WWE.
Yeah, you can still get traditional pay-per-view.
Patrick says he bought it on pay-per-view. Don't watch WWE. I do watch AEW on occasion, but never miss you guys. Thank you, Patrick.
You got to pay twice because it's 2 nights?
Oh, Angelo dropping just a
Or
bit.
just pay one fee.
Angelo's just trying to be the leader. Angelo dropping a super chat. I love it. Just to take over from Doug Hepburn.
Such a rivalry.
Competition.
It's competition to be the super chat leader. Angelo now back in the lead. He likes to be the leader. He does it. He's good at it. He always kind of sneaks in there. Sneaky Angelo. I love it. Yeah, could it be Big E and Roman next?
I see probably like some kind of rematch, you know, at WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, right, because Backlash isn't just Backlash. Backlash! It's WrestleMania Backlash. And it's Sunday, May 16th. There were previous reports that said Backlash wouldn't be until June, but it will be May 16th, 5 weeks away from WrestleMania Backlash. I mean, they are really milking the shit out of this WrestleMania concept, right? Is this Peacock that's telling them to do that?
I'd bet.
Right? Like, it's weird. Because they did WrestleMania Smackdown, right? Smackdown on Friday wasn't just Smackdown. It was WrestleMania Smackdown. And I understand that because, you know, it's Mania weekend, and they did the Andre Battle Royal, and then they did the SmackDown Tag Team title match. So they kind of gave you some Mania matches on SmackDown. That I could buy. But WrestleMania Backlash 5 weeks after WrestleMania in mid-May? Pardon me? Like, I understand. Like, Backlash is already understood to be the kind of backlash from WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. But now they're just saying, fuck it, we're going to call it WrestleMania Backlash to try and sucker some people in who don't watch enough to be like, oh, this is WrestleMania, I'm going to buy this. Oh, they do. Some people don't know WrestleMania is once a year. Some people think they do a WrestleMania once a month because they've heard the term WrestleMania so much, they have no fucking idea. They don't watch wrestling. They watch WrestleMania. So WWE's like, nobody's going to watch Backlash, but if we call it WrestleMania Backlash, we might get some of these casuals that only tune in for Mania. It's not a dumb move, but it's a little like, you know, those of us that are paying attention, it's like, okay, we see what you're doing here. WrestleMania Backlash.
Look for the Royal Rumble next year be called Royal Rumble Road to WrestleMania. It's officially.
Stupid. Uh-oh, Patrick. Patrick coming in.
Do it again?
Oh!
Patrick dropping a big one. Big super chat from Patrick. Big
Wow.
50. Big 50, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick, for the super chat with a big emoji there. Well, now Patrick is the leader, so Angelo's going to have some catching up to do. Patrick is the big leader. Thank you, Patrick, for supporting the team. What were we talking about? WrestleMania Backlash.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Very sneaky. Sneaky. Vince
Shameless
McMahon.
grab.
Shameless Vince. Good God almighty. I like it, though. I mean, whatever. You know, for us, honestly, it's good. Like, for us, for the Ringside Report Network, WrestleMania Backlash is great. Because more people will watch the pay-per-view. More people will watch the post-shows. Good. Call everything WrestleMania.
Yeah, it might happen. You know, like in like September or something, it'll be called like halfway to WrestleMania pay-per-view.
Yeah. Half Mania.
Yeah.
You know? They should go to Saudi Arabia and call it the greatest WrestleMania. Like they did the greatest Royal Rumble.
I wouldn't doubt that happening.
How about it?
I kind of hope they don't, but...
Well, obviously we hope they don't, but...
Like, Money in the Bank is fine. Just call it Money in the Bank. That sells itself, I think. I don't think you need to add another title to it. I think you add too many titles to it. It just gets kind of ridiculous.
What about Money in the WrestleMania? WrestleMania in the Bank?
WrestleMania in the Bank. Royal WrestleMania Rumble.
Great Balls of WrestleMania.
Elimination Mania. WrestleMania Elimination Chamber. Just put WrestleMania before every pay-per-view you have from now on. WrestleMania Raw. WrestleMania NXT TakeOver.
That's what it's all about.
And then WrestleMania itself would be like nothing anymore.
Yeah.
It'll be
Like,
like, WrestleMania. Just WrestleMania. It's not like WrestleMania Royal Rumble. Like, this sucks, man. Just plain old WrestleMania. Boring. WrestleMania with fries. Chocolate WrestleMania. Sprinkles.
I wonder who came up with the name WrestleMania. Was it Vince? Like the name itself? Because it's a brilliant name.
I think they just piggybacked on Hulkamania.
Yeah.
I think, right? Was Hulkamania came first. I think they were just like Hulkamania, WrestleMania. I don't know.
Because it just fits, you know, for this kind of thing.
Or wasn't it? I think there's a guy who came up with the name.
Like not Vince or Pat Patterson or something like that, like someone else.
I think it might have been Finkel.
Finkel.
I think Finkel came up with WrestleMania.
Why don't we call it WrestleMania?
I believe they said it on the history of WrestleMania doc. If I'm mistaken.
One of the many history of WrestleMania docs they've made over the years.
One man had a vision. I thought it was Finkel.
It could be. Finkel was like always like
yes. Finkel, Howard Finkel, the greatest ring announcer of all time, apparently also named it. He said to Vince, I said there was Beatlemania, why can't there be WrestleMania? And the rest is history in 1984.
Yeah, Beatlemania, that's the original.
Huh. So apparently, yeah, and Bruce Pritchard has backed up that story. Howard Finkel named WrestleMania.
The Fink.
God bless the Fink.
The late great.
Greatest ring announcer of all time. He named WrestleMania. A little history for you. Apparently, Raw is doing an announce team shakeup. Tom Phillips is going. Some guy called Adrian Verk from ESPN is replacing him.
Tom Phillips is like fired?
Who's Adrian Verk?
That sounds like a wrestler name.
Well, they definitely need a shakeup because commentary is horrible in WWE. So
Adnan
change is
Verk.
good.
His name's not Adrian, it's Adnan. Oh, he's Canadian.
He seems familiar, like TSN guy. He's a TSN guy.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Oh, MLB Network? Okay.
He was on The Score, and I guess he worked for TSN.
I watch MLB Network.
I guess he's going to be on WWE. New Raw announce team.
See how he does.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I mean, I can't imagine he's going to be any good.
No, probably not.
Like, he's not a wrestling guy. I don't want to hear
Can't be any worse than what we have.
I mean, I don't like these guys that aren't wrestling people doing wrestling shows. They suck.
All these Todd Grisham.
Who are the
What
greatest?
we have right now is bad.
Who are the greatest announcers in the history of pro wrestling? They're all wrestling guys. Jim Ross,
Jesse Ventura,
Vince, Jesse, Bobby, Gorilla,
Perfect.
The King, Like
Piper.
even Shivani is like a wrestling guy pretty much.
Even today.
Like you gotta be like a wrestling guy. You can't be one of these guys that's like half ESPN, half wrestling. Oh, Angelo dropping the super chat.
Good God Almighty! From the top rope.
Is Angelo the
What a
leader
fight.
now? I think
This
he
is
is.
quite the fight.
That is quite a battle. Angelo now takes over from Patrick. Good God Almighty. That's a battle. Like, Angelo and Patrick are battling for the leadership of the Super Chat right now. Angelo just took over. Thank you, Angelo.
Should I?
Thank you,
Should I
Angelo.
take a shot? I know you talked about you not wanting to take a shot. I could take the shot for you. You talked about shots of whiskey, on a previous broadcast about Super Chat donations.
Oh, no. I mean, at this point, we probably hit that target, and I don't want to
I can do it for you.
You just want to drink my liquor. You just want to make this party like a real party.
I don't know.
This guy's just trying to party.
And if it keeps the Super Chats coming,
I don't think it's going to keep a Super Chat coming if you start drinking on pay-per-view or whatever
it can
this
be a pretty
is.
fun drunk.
YouTube. I don't want to see you drinking.
Ben is the liquor, huh?
Ben is not the liquor. But you know what I'm saying? These goddamn wrestling people, these are the people you want to see do wrestling commentary. The Tom Phillips of the world, these fucking guys, they suck. Even Michael Cole, like, no one is ever going to say that he's great. He's been passable for the years, but no one is going to look back on Michael Cole's career and think he was the greatest of all time. Fucking Kevin Kelly. Fuck this Verk guy. Like, no disrespect to the guy. I'm sure he's a lovely man, and he's Canadian, so I like him. But let's be real. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, I'm coming for you, Angelo and Patrick. Thank you, Doug.
Wow.
Thank you, Doug. Not quite. Angelo's still the leader, but Doug he's trying to gain there a little bit at a time. He's trying to gain momentum, baby.
Climb the ladder.
But I want to see wrestling people do this shit. Kevin Kelly is a New Japan Pro Wrestling guy. Vince should throw money at him. He used to work for you. Throw money at Kevin Kelly. He's a real pro wrestling announcer. He should be your fucking play-by-play guy. He is the best in the business as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that he's not in WWE is a damn shame. Pro wrestling people.
They replaced Kevin Kelly with Michael Cole, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well,
they
can always bring him back. What's the problem with that? They brought Joey Styles back a bunch of times.
They
Come
brought
on,
the
man.
coach back.
They brought Jerry Lawler back a bunch. Come on. What are you talking about here? They can bring him back. I don't want to see non-wrestling people on a wrestling show. They're awkward. They're stiff. They can't fucking do it. Tom Phillips was awful.
Who was that guy with the glasses?
Morrow?
No. It was like when they had like a shake-up, and it was like this guy and Dio Madden and like Tom Phillips on Raw. They had like glasses. He looked like then he got demoted to NXT. He was shit. It was like
I don't
Jordan
remember.
something.
I don't remember
Ricky
who
something.
he was.
That guy sucked. But like guys like that.
Yeah, like who was the other Tom Phillips that they had before?
Who's the guy that Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens couldn't find the name of?
Tom Phillips.
Wasn't it? There's another guy, Rome, Mike Rome.
Oh, yeah, he was the other Tom.
Yeah.
Mike and Tom, they were both Toms.
Yeah.
But they used to have a guy who then went to ESPN. He used to do commentary for WWE. He's basically like Tom Phillips or Todd Pettengill.
I gotta find his name.
Todd Grisham.
Todd Grisham, yeah.
These people, I don't want to see these people in wrestling. I'm not interested in these people. Morrow was like okay for wrestling. Morrow is more of a wrestling guy. He was fine. But I think Kevin Kelly, I'm not a huge, no, Morrow's fine, whatever. He's not my favorite though. Kevin Kelly is my favorite. Vic Joseph. He's in NXT now, isn't he?
I think so. He was dog shit.
Yeah, that commentary team.
David
isn't
Otunga,
great.
they tried. Ugh.
Commentary in WWE's been bad for years, and they bring in these outside hires and they don't make it better.
Renee was.
They don't make it better.
Renee was okay.
Yeah,
not great, but okay.
She became a wrestling person though. That's what
She
Renee
didn't have
like.
that much.
Renee bought in though. She became a wrestling person.
She married into it.
Yeah. It's different, when you get fully entrenched. Like Michael Cole at this point, he's a wrestling guy, so you give him his respect. He's been in the company forever. But these people, they come in and they try them out, and then they go back to whatever sports job. It's like, I don't know.
They're
Maybe
trying to pad their resumes.
Maybe this guy will stick around and he'll be great, but I doubt it. You know, he's not a wrestling guy. I want to see people that are just, you know, involved in pro wrestling, doing these pro wrestling play-by-play jobs. Because historically, they've been good at it. Those are the people you want to hear do pro wrestling commentary.
I bet these people, like a lot of these like sports media people, I bet they're like probably like recommendations from like Dick Ebersol or something. Like Vince and Dick Ebersol still go back.
Is Dick Ebersol still alive?
I think so. I hope so. I hope I'm not.
Is he still working for NBC?
No, but I'm sure he's still like. I'm sure Vince calls him up and like, "Hey, Dick, you know, I'm sure you know sports people and stuff."
He is still alive,
and he was a sports guy, so I'm sure.
He still works for
I'm sure
NBC,
he's like
though.
probably at least in like a consultant capacity. I'm sure. I don't think he's on bad terms.
I don't think he still works. He's like pretty old.
Yeah, he's probably retired, but he's still like, you know, like a respected person in the media community. I'm sure those are like those people are his recommendations.
Maybe. I don't know who's,
Vince
you know,
listens.
but Vince has a lot of corporate people too that he's got in the company. I don't know, but you know, Jim Ross was the best, and that guy was a wrestling guy through and through. Gorilla Monsoon
And they
was
didn't like him.
fantastic. Yeah, well, they didn't like him. You could say that, but they sure as hell used him for a long time, right? They could maybe
'Cause
not like
he was
him.
over.
Yeah, okay. You know why he was over? Because people fucking liked him. They might not have liked him, and they liked these Michael Cole types. They like the Todd Grishams. They like these guys that come in that are just like, you know, they could be reading sports highlights or they could be doing wrestling commentary because they don't really have any personality. All these people is guys that have that look and that can, hey, and this is what's happening here. But they have fucking nothing behind the eyes. There's nothing there. And that's what WWE wants. They want a fucking body that'll just parrot whatever bullshit they have to say. You know, Vince will fucking be in your ear telling you exactly what the fuck to say. And, you know, when you're on fucking Sports Center, you're sitting there and you have a fucking teleprompter and you don't do anything. You're just sitting there reading shit.
You got a producer in your ear telling you what to say.
Fucking useless people, man. And these people, you know, they're a dime a dozen. And fuck, who wants to hear them? Who gives a shit about their opinions? They don't have opinions. The whole point of these people is that they don't have opinions. They're fucking cardboard, you know? And for pro wrestling, you got to have a little personality. Gorilla Monsoon, he's going to give you some pushback. Jim Ross going to give you some personality. Kevin Kelly's got some fucking zip. These fucking bland, cookie cutter fucking guys that they get are so fucking boring, man. Believe me, I've been in the sports media business. I've talked to some of these fucking guys. Bland as a motherfucker. Boring ass motherfuckers. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys are just reading the shit. There's a reason why all they do is read the shit. Because if you fucking heard them talk about, like, actual things, they couldn't do it. They're fucking boring as fuck, man. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys are super boring. Start talking to them, you're like, people listen to you? People watch you on TV? I don't want to talk to you for 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cardboard people. WWE needs to just stick with wrestling, man. Stick with wrestling people. Hire Kevin Kelly. Hire, fuck, there's enough people out there. Hire Dave. Hire
Nigel
me.
McGuinness? You know,
Hire me for fucking commentary for WWE. I'd be pretty fucking good at that. I'm a wrestling person, you know?
Yeah.
It's not complicated. But yeah, Mako says public company. It changes everything. It really does. It's super corporate and super boring, and that's why you have the shitty-ass commentary that you have. The problem is, you know, that's the soundtrack to the wrestling. And, you know, when that's the soundtrack, you have one of the greatest moments in fucking WrestleMania history, Bianca Belair getting the win there over Sasha Banks. And what do you hear? Sasha kicks out!
That was awful.
And he's your tenured guy, Michael Cole, saying that shit. Botching the call.
The voice of the WWE.
The voice of the WWE. That's your current voice of the WWE. Get it together. I mean, that's dog shit. We go from fucking Gorilla to Vince to JR to Michael fucking Cole.
I was just watching a clip of when of like Hogan and The Rock, and when Hogan drops the leg drop on The Rock, just JR just shouts out, "He beat Andre the Giant with that move." Just so much weight and history and everything leading up to that moment.
Because they care.
And
you feel the passion.
It wasn't even the finish of the match.
Exactly. You feel the passion. You need to have play-by-play people that are passionate, so Like Paul M is saying, you get the fucking the talent over. These commentators that don't have passion for wrestling, that don't eat, sleep, and breathe the wrestling business, they don't have the passion, and that's clear when they fucking do the play-by-play. So on these big calls that are supposed to be momentous occasions, they feel fucking flat. Flat. I like former wrestlers doing that shit, primarily.
And that's why...
That's why Gorilla was so good. I also really liked Vince, but even JR, he wasn't a former wrestler, but the guy, you know, eats, sleeps, and breathes the wrestling business. That's what you have to do. Because for people like us that do eat, sleep, breathe the wrestling business, when we're hearing these fucking guys that you're like, you're halfway into it, aren't you? I talked to Todd Grisham one time about WWE. This guy, he doesn't fucking watch anymore. He doesn't give a shit. He's not a wrestling fan. It was a job for him. I saw him at a UFC show one time. I was in media. He was in media. I was like, hey, you used to work for WWE. Started talking to him. He didn't give a fuck about WWE. I was like, oh, you're just a fucking guy who didn't give a shit, and now you're happy to be gone. Okay. And that's what they do. That's who they hire. And it's like, okay, well, you know, if I talk to JR, I bet you it'd be a fucking different conversation. I want to talk to JR about, like, I started talking to him a little about wrestling, and this guy was just like, yeah. And he didn't seem that into wrestling, you know? Didn't seem to give a shit. I was like, oh, I just watched you. You were doing play-by-play for Jericho and Mysterio. It was such a fucking great match, you know? And he's like, oh, yeah, that was fun. I was like, yeah. It's like a fucking historical wrestling match you got to call, and you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have no appreciation for what you did and the ringside seat you had for fucking pro wrestling history. And you can bet Jim Ross has that fucking appreciation. So,
and that's why, you know, like watching Mania, you know, still to this day, when they play those historic calls in those like video packages, it's from now like further and further away, you know, the boyhood dream.
Yep.
And Austin era has begun. Like, that's all they can go back to because...
My God, that man is broken in half. Like
it's all they can go back to.
Does fucking Michael Cole have a classic call? JR has a dozen.
I think he got like the miracle on Bourbon Street when Bryan won. Maybe.
Oh, he says vintage all the time.
Yeah, vintage.
But that's even like that's like a joke at this point.
Yeah.
It's not and like it's not a unique call either. Everything is vintage. Like it's not, you know, once in a lifetime kind of call.
Garbage commentary in WWE. Pure garbage. And they keep filling it with, you know, people that don't give a shit. This guy would be happy, this Vert guy would be happy calling a hockey game or basketball.
Probably more passion.
With more passion, probably. You hire people that don't give a shit, and the people that do give a shit, you turn away for giving too much of a shit. What the fuck are you doing? You know, like, it's fucking counterproductive. But, hey, that's WWE. They fuck things up a lot. Thank God they have good wrestlers that give a shit, that save their asses constantly. They can fuck up the booking. They can fuck up the hiring. They can fuck up as much as they want. But they still have some of the best talent in the world who give a shit enough to have their dream be to work for this fucking company so they could perform in big arenas like they did tonight at a Wrestle fucking Mania with all the production. Thank God that the talent still gives a shit. And that's what the WWE is. A lot of ill-booked shit with still a bunch of talent that believes in pro wrestling because they grew up watching WWE and they know what it should be and they know that they're getting paid a lot and it's, you know, cool. The pyro's good. So they save the fucking show. You know, Edge and Bryan and Roman, they give a shit. And even if the booking is a little wonky sometimes, they're going to give it their all. Kevin Owens and Sammy, they know their angle was a little slapped together, but fuck it. They're going to work hard. Sheamus and Riddle, they know that, you know, whatever. This is a rematch from Raw, but fuck it. It's WrestleMania. Let's go. The talent fucking saves the show. Some of the best in-ring talent in the world. Great wrestlers. The goddamn company, it's another story. The direction of the company, another story. But WrestleMania, the talent fucking rises to the occasion because they still believe. They still give a shit. Because it's WrestleMania and they get up for that. Raw in the Thunderdome tomorrow night, though.
Whew, deflating it's going to be. It's going to be hard to
Going
go
back to the Thunderdome is going to suck. If the UFC can do Jacksonville, packed arena, 15,000 in an arena on the 24th of this month, Vince can't be far behind doing packed arenas in Florida for regular TV. But as far as we know, Thunderdome tomorrow night for Raw.
Not too good.
Not too good. Main event, of course, Roman Reigns beats Daniel Bryan and Edge to retain the WWE Universal title. A lot of great stuff there in that match. Jey Uso beating up Edge and Bryan. Roman was tossing him out of the ring to start off. Then Edge hit the DDT on Uso on the steel steps. Medical personnel escorted Uso back. He'd find his way back to the ring later on. Edge and Roman hitting double spears into each other's shoulders. That was a hell of a spot.
Yeah, that was a good spot.
Bryan doing the diving headbutt on Roman and Edge. Like, Bryan does not bust that out. He's had concussion problems. That's a move he has not done, I don't think, since he's come back, and he did it twice. It's WrestleMania. The talent gives a shit. Health be damned. Let's fucking go. Daniel Bryan fucking went for it. Bryan got powerbombed by Roman through the announce table, and then Roman immediately speared off the steps he was standing on by Edge. That was a hell of a thing. Big bump from Bryan, big bump from Edge and Roman there. I mean, even Edge taking, giving the spear. I mean, it's not an easy move. He's landing rough, Great spot where Edge has a crossface on Roman, and then he's got a piece of the chair, a piece of metal, and he's sticking in Roman's mouth. And then Daniel Bryan comes in just as Roman's about to tap. Bryan grabs Roman's other arm to stop him from tapping, wraps it up in the omoplata, applies his own yes lock as Edge has the crossface. And then they're just torturing Roman. He wants to tap. He's in terrible pain, but he can't tap out. And now he's getting a second arm wrenched back and another man wrenching his neck at the same time. And then Edge and Bryan battling with the headbutts on each other. Just solid headbutts, solid shots, solid strikes throughout the match. Edge then hitting the spear on Daniel Bryan. Spear on Roman. 1, 2. Bryan pulls Charles Robinson, the referee, out of the ring. Edge hits a concerto on Bryan. Looks like Edge is about to beat Bryan because Roman is down. But Jey Uso comes back in, distracts Edge, still eats a spear, eats some chair shots from Edge. He's back out of the ring, but enough time allows Roman Reigns to hit the spear on Edge as Bryan is just convulsing from the concerto that Edge hit him with. Kind of scary. I mean, we know that he's selling, but Bryan has had seizures due to concussions. It did add to the realism, but it's just good God, is Bryan okay? He is, but just to see Bryan convulsing is a bit of an eerie thing. But,
around Mania season 2, after 2 different Manias, he's had to take significant time off.
Yeah, but, he's selling. He's selling the concerto. So Bryan's convulsing, Roman spears Edge, and then concertos Edge and drags Edge on top of Bryan to do the 1, 2, 3 on both of them. Roman retains. Just incredible stuff from all three guys. Incredible match. It is my match of the night. I'm giving WrestleMania Night 2 an 8 on 10. And once again, Johnny North, you're giving this a 7. You gave last night a 6. And your match of the night is the main event too, right? Yeah?
That's correct. I mean, overall, I think I'd still have to go with the main event of last night. But for tonight, it was definitely this main event.
Yeah. I'd say so. And your match of the night was Kevin and Sammy.
Kevin and Sammy. I gave tonight an 8. Last night a 7.
Solid 8. Solid pay-per-view tonight. Solid wrestling from everybody.
And I guess we count this both nights as one cohesive Mania. Like, it won't be like, like if you're ranking Manias, you won't say Mania Night 1, Mania Night 2. It's like just Mania 37.
I don't know. Last year, I kind of feel like it was two separate Manias.
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like that? Like there was night one and although
I mean, last year was also so weird because it was like they just started doing the Performance Center stuff.
But both nights
There was movie matches.
Yeah. I just remember night one being a lot better last year because we had the Boneyard.
Yeah. But I don't know. This year was definitely better. And I'd say, like,
better than last year for sure. I mean, the crowd helps a lot.
Overall rankings of Mania, it's probably up there. I mean, this high concentration of quality matches and some good moments and spots. I mean, maybe in the top 10.
I wish the rest of the company, the writing and the management would have done a better job leading into that to support their talent, so we could have better stories leading into these great wrestling matches. That's the disappointing part. Is the creative staff really dropped the ball going into this Mania. There wasn't a lot of great storytelling creatively going into it, and despite the fact that we had some really good wrestling, it doesn't mean as much because, there was no fucking build to any of this shit.
Yeah, there is that. That will always be a detriment. And, like, those old Manias always had, like, every match had, like, because that's the only show they had to build towards. But I don't know. This was a good Mania though, and it was up there for me, especially like in at least the last decade of Manias.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed WrestleMania tonight. I enjoyed WrestleMania last night. Giving 2 WWE pay-per-views in a row an 8 on 10 for me is pretty good. And Johnny North giving anything a 7 on 10 is like basically a 10. It's one of the highest ranked pay-per-views that Johnny would ever give, right? Angelo wants a super chat leaderboard. I think Angelo is in the lead. I'm working on it. I think our production team is still around. Maybe. Can help us out with a super chat leaderboard? I'm trying to figure it out myself, Angelo.
I think something got posted there, no?
Oh, yeah, there it is. Thank you. Wow, the team is on the ball. Angelo is in the lead. Patrick, second place. Angelo in the lead over Patrick by like $5. Good God almighty.
Wow.
Patrick, if you want to steal Angelo's thunder, man, now's the time. Wild stuff. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Angelo. Big supporters here tonight. Doug Hepburn as well. Antoinette, Dorr, Jason Pete. Oh, that's not for tonight, though. TK, that was last night, right? Is that overall leaderboard for both nights? I think that's for both nights. I don't understand. So I watching WWE. What that means. Right? That's not a leaderboard for that's leaderboard for both nights. I don't think that's for just tonight, but I'm pretty sure Angelo is the leader for tonight too, right? Right? Oh, John.
I'll guess so. I wasn't keep paying attention because the comments kind of like disappear for me a lot, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm doing the math here. It looks like Angelo is the leader for the night, and I think the leader for the weekend. I do believe. Yeah, Angelo wanted a leaderboard for tonight, but we got up a leaderboard for the weekend.
Super chat.
Uh-oh. Patrick!
Oh, by God.
Patrick swooping
Thunder
in.
stolen.
Every time I think I'm out.
Dropping a 15. Thunder stolen from Angelo. I would like to see a leaderboard for tonight. I think our team is working on it.
Our number crunchers.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I really felt Edge had the greatest pop of the night. Like, his entrance was amazing.
Edge did have a huge pop. I don't know.
Get the Mania pop last year, so this
not
was
quite
a
as
long time
big as
coming.
Bad Bunny's pop last night, but it was pretty good.
That was a big pop.
Huge pop for Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's the star of the weekend, MVP of WrestleMania. Match of the weekend, I would say probably the main event, though, tonight. Bad Bunny had a great match last night, but I think Edge, Roman, Bryan, match of the weekend for me. But you...
Super chat.
Uh-oh. Angelo coming right back to take over. Boom! Dropping a $13.99. Thank you, Angelo. Super chatting. Taking back the lead, I believe. Now, you didn't give tonight's main event match of the night, so I'm curious to see what your match of the weekend is. My match of the night last night was the Bad Bunny match. I thought Bianca and Sasha really close there. You thought Bianca-Sasha was the match of the night last night, as did Johnny. So what did you think? Match of the weekend overall?
Bianca and Sasha was my match of the weekend. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a great match. The last match on the card, it was a big deal. One-on-one women's match, hasn't happened before. They've had a triple threat, which is also a big deal, but a one-on-one match. And they delivered. It had a big match feel. All the moves were hard-hitting. It felt special. I liked the little emotion at the beginning, when they were just kind of soaking in the moment. And, even though they were kind of, supposed to be feuding, you could feel a little bit of support between them, when they were kind of emotional at the beginning of the match. You could feel them look at each other and be like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Which,
it was nice.
While it takes away a bit, it is nice, and it has that big match feel, and that's my pick for match of the weekend.
I will admit, seeing Bianca come out yesterday, I got a little emotional. Like, seeing her, I was just like, this is a moment. Like, it felt special. It was big. That big fight feel, as they say, it definitely felt that way. It felt like WrestleMania. That main event last night, it really felt like...
Yeah, like one of those Mania main events, where you're like, you've been watching the build-up, and then you're like, all right, here it is, and you're watching it, and then it's like, oh, it's over. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel disappointing.
It was a very special match last night, for sure. But I really love the main event tonight. Just all over the place, hard-hitting, 3 legends of the game, 3 Hall of Famers, 1 guy who's already in the Hall of Fame. I love Edge. He was so great tonight.
Edge was fantastic.
He's so great.
He was in great shape tonight.
He looked great. He wrestled great. He hasn't missed a step, and that's what's really impressive with him. It's like he's been gone for, 9 years, and he comes back, and he's just as good as he's ever been. Like, Edge has not lost anything. Isn't that crazy? Like, he's in great shape. He looks great. And in the ring, his mobility, everything. I mean, he's nearly 50, and he is still looking fantastic in the ring. 47. He's not quite 50, but, he is fantastic. And especially all the time off, he's in there with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, who've been wrestling way more consistently. And Edge just, hanging right in there with him, looking just as good as those guys. Bryan was fantastic tonight, too. I mean, Daniel Bryan's great. Roman had a great showing. I was super impressed with Edge, though. Edge is just, ageless somehow. Retires, comes back, and is just as good as he was when he left. If not better. Like, the promos that he's doing, the intensity, the abs, he might be better.
He just can't do those ladder matches anymore.
No. Those bumps are kind of behind him.
But that's okay.
As far as what he can do in the ring and the character, this version of Edge is very, very good. Hell of a match tonight. Match of the weekend for me. Match of the weekend for you too, John, or what are you doing? Did you go Bianca?
I said Bianca and Sasha.
Yeah, but did John?
I did as well, yeah.
Yeah, eh? Okay. I respect your opinion, John. I respect you, brother. And I respect all... Yeah, go ahead.
I thought it was the best match. I'm not saying it was a perfect match, but it was definitely a very good match. Yeah. I'm not going to say it was a lot of people are saying it's one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. It's definitely good. One of the best, matches I've seen recently. I think maybe in recent WrestleMania, but overall, that's very difficult to say because I still had some things I was kind of had problems with there. You kind of talked about last night where, Bianca supposed to be the bigger person in this match, and she didn't act like it a lot of times in the match. They were doing the whole size difference, and it didn't really work at some moments.
Do we have a match of the year candidate at WrestleMania? I really like Daniel Bryan and Roman at the last pay-per-view. I thought that was a contender, and I know AEW's done some shit that I haven't, like the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match.
Yeah,
goddamn, Even the barbed wire death match with Moxley and Kenny was pretty damn good, except for that weirdo finish. But still, like we've had some good matches this year. But I think Bianca Sasha is a contender. I think Edge Roman Bryan is a contender. I think even Sammy and Kevin tonight is a contender for match of the year. But it's going to be tough when it comes down to the end of 2021 because, like I said, we've had some really good matches this year. I think Kevin and Roman at the Rumble was tremendous. Bryan and Roman at Fastlane was very, very good. And like I said, some AEW matches there. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Johnny Hungy, Darby Allin even was pretty fucking awesome. So we've had some really good wrestling matches this year in the big two companies. But for WWE, like for sure, WrestleMania tonight and WrestleMania last night brought out some match of the year candidates.
Yeah, which is what you want from a Mania.
Yes, that's exactly what you want. Mania should deliver several match of the year candidates, and it did. I'd say Kevin and Sammy, Sasha Bianca, the Triple Threat, and even Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against Miz and Morrison. That was a little bit different, but it was fucking good. It was fucking
better,
good.
Way better than it had any right to be.
It was beautiful. Ray Cruz says Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, stand and deliver. Like, that was good too. There's a lot of good wrestling all over the place. Tons of wrestling all over for you to watch, and we are covering it each and every time that it is on, all the time. We will be back here tomorrow night after Raw. I am back tomorrow after Raw, right here on the channel. If there's a problem with the video, go back to the main channel. The video will be there. We've been having some weird glitches with YouTube. If I start and then I disappear, just go back to the main YouTube channel. I will be there. Okay? Don't worry about it. We didn't have those problems tonight, thank God, but we've been having some weirdo issues with YouTube, so just go to the main channel tomorrow and everything should be good. Right after Monday Night Raw. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notifications. Apparently, we're having trouble. Our team is struggling with the program that we use to calculate the totals for the night is not giving us the totals for the Super Chat. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, doing the math that I'm doing now, I think Angelo has led. Angelo is in the lead here. I'm going to do some quick math. Give me 7, 9, 7 plus 12, 9, what's that? 13. I'm going to try to do the math for you guys.
I'm liking hearing the stream of consciousness. 12,
13, 16, 16 to 12. Oh, 66 to 12. Uh-oh. What's shit?
Give me a
60. No, 50, 60, 60. Oh, 66 to 60. Wait a second. Hold on a second. 75 to 74. Patrick. Oh, according to my math, Patrick is actually the leader by a buck.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
God almighty.
And that was my math, and that's pretty quick math, so maybe it's bad. But as far as I can tell, checking the numbers here in the Super Chat, Patrick is the leader. Patrick is the leader of the week and is the leader of the night.
Quite the contest.
Wow. I just did the math, and Patrick is actually the Super Chat leader by $1 tonight. That's crazy.
Some Price is Right shit there.
Oh, wait. Angelo says he went 76-77 tonight. Maybe he's the leader then.
Oh?
Maybe I miscalculated.
Oh, we need a recount.
Recount.
Oh, stop the count.
That's right. Stop the steal.
15, 65. I don't know. You know what? Patrick and Angelo, you guys are both champions.
Yeah.
I think.
Why do we have to fight?
I mean, I don't know. You guys are both donating to the same cause. You guys are both helping the channel survive. I don't know who's the leader. I said it was Patrick. I said it was Patrick, but now Angelo is disputing. Either way, I think it's very close.
I think one of them should drop a big donation now, just to
make sure.
A death blow.
There's Angelo dropping one.
The power of suggestion.
Angelo wins. Angelo, you just won for the night. Thank you, Angelo. But Patrick, you are the leader of the week. So that counts for something too. But thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the leaders for sure for the week. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to everybody supporting the Ringside Report Network. All our members and everybody super chatting tonight, of course. Patrick, Doug, Dor out in Israel. Patrick out in Regina. Angelo in Montreal. Doug in Kingston, Ontario. TK, I don't know where you're from. Antoinette out in Toronto. I think TK's in Montreal. Shout out to everybody watching. We appreciate you. Shout out to some of our new viewers as well. Candace White. Hi, Candace. Thanks for joining us. Mako8033, always with us, brother. Thank you, Mako. Thank you for watching. Franco316, Bob Cote. All the regulars in the chat here tonight during WrestleMania weekend. Appreciate you. AJ, of course. I can't forget about AJ, right, Johnny? Never forget about AJ. Paul M., Ray Cruz. Seeing a lot of the, members of the team, a lot of the regulars in the chat tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. WrestleMania Sunday. And that's it. I will be back here tomorrow night for the Raw after WrestleMania. I'm surprised they're not calling it WrestleMania Raw.
They might.
They probably will.
They usually call it the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Usually it's a big show.
Well, not that big show. He's somewhere else.
It's another show.
Yeah, he'll be on AEW Dark Elevation tomorrow night, which I'm sure you're all anticipating greatly.
It's on YouTube?
Yeah.
I'll watch the hockey game.
The what? Who's playing?
Yeah. Well, Montreal, of course, so I'll watch that.
Nice. They're allowed to go out of their houses after 8 p.m.?
They are.
Those bastards. All right. Good for them.
Are above the law.
I hope they win. Good for you, John. We love you. Thank you again. Angelo wins the night again.
Boom.
Angelo, you are the leader tonight. Thank you very much. We will be back here tomorrow night. Angelo says, I mean tonight. You're right, Angelo, because it's technically
He's right.
Monday. Yeah, it's 1:22 in the morning, and that's it. That's all for us. This has been the WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 37 post-show. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.